Caitlin Clark showed no mercy to DeWanna Bonner.
Indiana Fever fans
did boo DeWanna Bonner.
Booing DeWanna Bonner has become such an issue.
DeWanna Bonner, too scared to come out and face the music,
Was on the sideline.
We didn't get DeWanna Bonner.
Kalia Copper ended up
At the podium complaining about the Fever fans.
Say some insane things in the media.
People talk some trash to her, but, we had her back. But it's just very distasteful.
All the smoke for the Fever fans.
What has DeWanna Bonner done for this league?
this WNBA showdown was about to be spicy.
Get ready for a rant.
The boos hit DeWanna Bonner the second she stepped on Indiana's court, and Caitlin Clark did the rest. She picked apart the Mercury, exposed Bonner, and turned the game into a statement.
This wasn't just a game, it was a soap opera with a basketball.
If you stand 100% with Caitlin Clark, drop 100% in the comments.
Clark has firmly established herself as the biggest name in the WNBA.
Caitlin Clark, she's going to play for 10 years. You got 10 years of price, the worst she's ever going to be. So I think they have all the leverage, or most of the leverage.
The moment DeWanna Bonner checked in wearing that Phoenix Mercury jersey, Gainbridge Fieldhouse erupted. Not in applause, but in cold, bitter boos.
Booing DeWanna Bonner has become such an issue.
Indiana Fever fans letting DeWanna Bonner hear it as they rain down boos upon her.
It wasn't some casual welcome back moment. This was a fan base holding receipts.
Yeah, I think just in sports, it's kind of what you have to anticipate, right?
Bonner was Indiana's big offseason signing.
The first matchup against DeWanna Bonner and the Phoenix Mercury.
Meant to bring leadership to a young team headlined by Caitlin Clark. But after just 9 underwhelming games, averaging a quiet 7 points and failing to gel with the squad, she walked out.
DeWanna Bonner left the Indiana Fever in a time of adversity when multiple players were injured, did not give it much time. 9 games was it. That's all she played with the Indiana Fever. Asking for a trade, this situation in particular has gotten under my skin, probably more than any other situation in the entire league and for the entire season.
Citing personal reasons, she vanished, only to pop up weeks later, reuniting with her partner, Alyssa Thomas in Phoenix.
Forcing your way onto the Phoenix Mercury, which is a title contending team and a team with her life partner on it.
That's when Indiana fans felt betrayed.
Typically, if you don't leave on your terms, the fans aren't going to be happy. And that's what they did tonight.
They didn't forget.
It just sounds very like I can get what I want when I want, and it doesn't matter what happens.
Sign a max contract. So basically, you sign a max contract so that you can't sign any other big free agents. Then after 5 games, just say, I quit.
What has DeWanna Bonner done for this league?
And when she walked back into that building, they made sure she heard every ounce of it.
What DeWanna Bonner did is like it's like worse than Kevin Durant.
But it wasn't just the fans feeling the heat. Bonner did too. Cameras caught her visibly reacting to the crowd. Her teammate Alyssa Thomas even started clapping back at hecklers.
DeWanna Bonner actually has not made any comments on this. This was something that was said by Kalia Copper, but Alyssa Thomas, her partner, who was the high scorer on the Mercury, did decide not to go to the post-game interview, of which the Mercury were fined for her not doing so.
Saying Bonner left to play for a real team.
Alyssa Thomas was saying that she left to play for a real team. That's what she was saying to fans who were basically booing DeWanna Bonner.
Kalia Copper jumped in during postgame, trying to defend Bonner's exit, calling the fans distasteful.
Kalia Copper starts to immediately say some insane things in the media
for booing her.
Kalia Copper spoke out on the boos against that fan base.
But that only made things worse.
She's a legend, and just all the things that she's done for the league, and just the disrespect. I can't get down with it. They booed her. She didn't say a word to the crowd. People talk some trash to her, but we had her back. But it's just very distasteful for what their fan base is doing.
Kalia Copper in the post-game media availability just added a lot of fuel to this fire.
The lack of understanding of how sports works.
You don't get to walk away from a team in the middle of the grind and expect a standing ovation when you come back.
LeBron, when he left Cleveland, people were burning his jerseys. People were booing him every time he was back in Cleveland. Joel Embiid, he decided to play for Team USA instead of playing for France. And he was met with boos because he apparently had said that he would like to play for the French national team, then decided to play for USA. There is a big lack of professionalism that is kind of embarrassing.
Not in Indiana.
Sophie Cunningham just steps on the court or gets announced or anything, it's met with boos from the crowd. Sophie Cunningham, I'm assuming that she's being met with these boos because of her potential.
And while the Mercury scrambled to protect Bonner's image.
Yeah, I think just in sports, it's kind of what you have to anticipate, right? Yeah, I thought she handled it fine. That's kind of how sports works. You go into a former home of yours, and typically if you don't leave on your terms, the fans aren't going to be happy. And that's what they did tonight. That I would guess so. I mean, AT's a competitive player, just like their players talk to their fans. Our players are going to do the same.
Caitlin Clark didn't need to say a word. She let the fans handle the energy and waited for her moment on the court to respond the way only she can, by delivering cold, calculated payback.
The Indiana Fever took on and defeated the Phoenix Mercury, and it was the first time they had to face off against DeWanna Bonner since she abandoned the team.
If the boos were personal, the basketball was surgical. From the second quarter onward, the Indiana Fever executed a game plan so precise, it looked like a postseason statement. This wasn't just about winning, it was about sending a message, especially to the woman who walked out on them. And Caitlin Clark, she was at the center of it all, orchestrating the game, pushing the tempo, and exposing every defensive crack Phoenix tried to hide. It started with defense. Head coach Stephanie White coached this game like it was Game 7.
I can see why players trust Stephanie White to play with Stephanie White. She is a game planner.
She abandoned traditional rotations, benched struggling veterans like Kelsey Mitchell.
Barely any contributions from the combined team of Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell.
She essentially told Kelsey Mitchell, Kelsey, you have stunk, sit for the second half.
And leaned hard on a 6-player unit that included sharp, hungry contributors like Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham. Her decision to put Aaliyah Boston on Alyssa Thomas was genius. It didn't stop Thomas from scoring, but it completely shattered the Mercury's rhythm. The Fever made a bold decision. Let Thomas get her numbers, but isolate her from the rest of the team.
Fever let her score 32 points. Other than the offensive rebounding points, the Fever, that was their game plan.
That's exactly what happened. Thomas scored a career high, but her team fell apart around her.
Alyssa Thomas, and you look at the stat line, she had 32 and 15. There's nothing to take away.
Alyssa Thomas is one of the physically toughest players in the WNBA, but she's charm and soft when it comes to anything else.
Phoenix's entire offense turned frantic. They rushed shots, forced passes, and repeatedly got baited into early fouls. The Fever played aggressive on-ball defense while denying key shooters like Sammy Wickham from deep.
They were literally and this was the tactic that the Indiana Fever went out with. We are not letting Sammy Wickham beat us from 3.
And the result? Thomas was forced to take 22 shots, way out of her comfort zone. She ended up with 8 turnovers.
Alyssa Thomas giving us 8 turnovers.
Committed a lot of unforced turnovers.
And not just forced steals. Many were wild off-target passes thrown directly into the crowd like she thought the fans were her teammates. Even when the Mercury found good looks, they couldn't finish. The Fever defense had rattled them. And Caitlin Clark, she turned that chaos into fuel. Her ability to read the floor, control transition, and hit shooters in stride punished Phoenix repeatedly.
Everybody filling the stat sheet, and all those players I listed showed up at different points in the game, and their contributions matter. That was definitely a statement game for the Indiana Fever. And
every Mercury mistake became a Fever fast break. Every sloppy possession turned into momentum for Indiana. And then came the second quarter run, the turning point. It wasn't flashy, but it was relentless. The Fever went from trailing by 9 to completely flipping the script. In a span of minutes, Alyssa Thomas had 3 straight turnovers, including 2 straight passes launched into the stands. The Mercury weren't just outplayed, they imploded under pressure.
Mercury, ever since she has been there, have not been the well-oiled engine that they were prior to her arrival.
And while Phoenix tried to regroup, Caitlin Clark was already orchestrating the next run. Her off-ball movement forced defensive switches. Her court vision created wide-open looks. Even when she wasn't scoring, she was dictating every single Mercury breakdown. Meanwhile, the Mercury couldn't find answers. Coach Nate Tibbetts, despite his NBA experience, stuck to his game plan and refused to adapt. He didn't switch to zone. He didn't adjust coverages, and it cost them.
And Nate Tibbetts in particular, he did come from the NBA side. So I think he kind of has an idea of how this goes. And I'm actually really glad that he said that. I'm glad that he didn't make the entire organization look like, you know, a bunch of soft, like, ninnies.
The Fever continued punishing them on the break, and when the Mercury tried to respond by getting physical, they just kept fouling. By the fourth quarter, Phoenix looked gassed, both mentally and physically. This wasn't just a win. It was revenge, calculated in cold.
107 points on the Mercury.
The Fever beat the Mercury in every category that mattered. Rebounds, turnovers, transition points, and every time the game looked like it might tighten, Caitlin Clark made a read, a pass, or a push that deflated Phoenix all over again. While the Mercury were busy spiraling and clapping back at fans, Clark was locked in, poised, and ruthless. By the end of the third, it was no longer just about Bonner's return.
Kalia Copper starts to immediately say some insane things in the media. The Indiana Fever welcome back DeWanna Bonner with an enormous L.
This WNBA showdown was about to be spicy.
What has DeWanna Bonner done for this league? Indiana Fever fans letting DeWanna Bonner hear it as they rain down boos upon her. DeWanna Bonner, Alyssa Thomas, too scared to come out and face the music.
Get ready for a rant. Booing DeWanna Bonner has become such an issue.
It was about how Caitlin Clark and the Fever had made Phoenix look like a team that didn't belong on the same court. And nothing said it louder than the way Indiana turned a heated matchup into a total dismantling. Right in front of the fans Bonner had once abandoned.
Melissa Thomas talking about how racist Indiana Fever fans are, how vicious Indiana Fever fans are.
DeWanna Bonner throwing up this ooga booga bull crap, missing, and then look at her getting swatted right after this from Tosh.
By the time the fourth quarter rolled around, it became more than just a basketball game. It turned into a symbolic clash between the future and the past, between accountability and entitlement, between Caitlin Clark's rise and DeWanna Bonner's unraveling. What we witnessed wasn't just a win on the scoreboard. It was a moment where the entire energy of the WNBA shifted, and it was impossible to ignore who was driving that momentum: Caitlin Clark. Let's start with Bonner. For someone who once walked into Indiana as a prized offseason signing, her return was nothing short of humiliating. The boos were loud, but what really silenced her was her own performance. She looked lost on both ends of the floor, missing wide-open shots, clanking threes off the side of the backboard.
Stop hitting the side of the backboard when you shoot threes!
And contributing little more than body language and attitude. At one point, after a heckle from a fan, she turned and mouthed something back. Clear proof the noise had gotten into her head.
This is when Natasha Howard beat her shot.
And that's when the spiral truly began. Her body language shifted. She stopped moving off ball. She was late on rotations. She looked like someone who wanted to be anywhere else but on that court. But while Bonner shrunk under the pressure, Caitlin Clark soared into her element. She didn't just play her usual game, she elevated it. Every possession she touched became a problem for the Mercury. Her movement without the ball was constant, keeping defenders chasing her across screens, only for her to suddenly pull up from deep or thread a laser-like pass to an open teammate.
She's a legend, and just all the things that she's done for the league, and just the disrespect. I can't get down with it. They booed her. She didn't say a word to the crowd. People talk some trash to her, but we had her back. But it's just very distasteful for what their fan base is doing.
Her gravity on the floor forced Phoenix to overhelp, and Clark made them pay every single time. One play summed it all up. Late third quarter, Phoenix finally tried a trap to slow Clark down. Two defenders closed in near half court. Without hesitation, she delivered a no-look bounce pass between them, finding Lexi Hull cutting down the lane for an easy bucket. The crowd erupted. The Mercury froze. And Bonner? She didn't even rotate to help. She just stood there, hands on her hips, watching the next generation make her look outdated.
4 points, 1 rebound, 0 assists, 0 steals. She was -3, 25% from the field. Damn.
But this wasn't just about Clark's playmaking. It was about her mental toughness. She never reacted to the drama. Not to Bonner's tension, not to Alyssa Thomas chirping at fans.
You cannot be there chirping with fans the whole game. You cannot be saying stuff like that and then hide.
Not to Kalia Copper's post-game excuses. While the Mercury were unraveling emotionally, Clark was locked in, emotionally bulletproof, doing her job with laser focus. She wasn't just a player that night, she was a leader. And when the game reached its final moments, the Fever up big, the camera caught a powerful image. Bonner slouched on the bench, expressionless, while Clark stood at half court, motioning her teammates to stay disciplined, calling out the final defensive switch like the conductor of a symphony. That contrast said everything. One star was falling, the other was ascending, fast. There's something else too.
The Indiana Fever fans did boo DeWanna Bonner.
Kalia Copper ended up talking about the boos for DeWanna Bonner.
Kalia Copper at the podium complaining about the Fever fans.
People talk some trash to her, but we had her back. But it's just very distasteful.
We didn't get DeWanna Bonner.
Indiana Fever showed no mercy to mess up DeWanna Bonner. DeWanna Bonner, he is destroyed. Caitlin Clark on the other side of her, hyping up the crowd. DeWanna Bonner was on the sideline.
DeWanna Bonner comes in. She gets booed by Fever fans.
The fan connection. When Clark scored, the crowd roared not just in support, but in admiration. It wasn't just that she played well. It's that she represented everything Indiana fans wanted from a player. Loyalty, grit, composure, and fire. And when Bonner jogged off the court after the final buzzer, visibly deflated, she didn't get just boos. She got indifference. The ultimate insult in sports, she had been replaced.
DeWanna Bonner is not talking to the media tonight.
And not just by a better player, but by a better leader.
Honestly, that got nothing to do with me. I think DB returned because we were playing Phoenix, and so that happened to be that. The fans chose to do what they wanted to do, but for us, it's about paying attention to what we have to do here, and that was coming in and getting a big win, which we were able to do.
Clark didn't need to roast Bonner with words. She did it with execution, with footwork, vision, timing, and heart. The scoreboard was the microphone. The fans were the applause. And the Mercury? They left with more questions than answers about their chemistry, their leadership, and their readiness to face this new generation of stars. Caitlin Clark didn't just destroy the Phoenix Mercury, she exposed them. She made a statement, not only about who's in charge now, but about what the future of the league looks like. And if DeWanna Bonner thought Indiana fans were going to forget, she found out the hard way. Indiana remembers everything, and Caitlin Clark never forgets who turned their back on her team.
This is a part or a stain on it that people are going to remember, especially the new fan base, the fan base that didn't necessarily keep up with DeWanna Bonner's history.
Fans would not be expected to boo a player from the other team.
DeWanna Bonner came back to Indiana expecting boos, but what she got was a basketball reality check. The Fever didn't just beat Phoenix, they buried them. And Caitlin Clark, she didn't need to trash talk. Her game did all the talking. From the crowd's first roar to the final buzzer, this was her court, her moment, and her revenge. If there was ever any doubt about who runs the show now, Indiana just made it crystal clear, and Caitlin Clark is only getting started.